Welcome back, everybody, to the long-ass week here at RoofCon 2022. At least for me, it's been a long week. We've been here since Friday. But I am here with Kyle and Keith from what lead batch?
Jeff.
Jeff, I'm sorry. What did I call you?
Keith.
Hey, you look like Keith Richards a little bit.
There you go,
and
man.
that's a compliment.
I love it.
Okay? That's probably the first time you've ever heard that. I was just fucking with you. But anyhow, Jeff and Kyle with lead batch.
Batchleads.com, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Why don't you explain to us what that is?
Sure. So Music City Roofers is my company in Nashville, Tennessee. We're a seven-figure roof company out there for 10 years. We've been running leads on Google, Facebook, the average thing that people do, YouTube, for many years, and we just got tired of spending so much money and getting little results, right? And so then we started door knocking, right? We all do the same thing, looking for appointments. And so then one of my good friends here, Kyle, came along with Batchleads.com, and basically it's a lead disrupting company. And what we found is by using it just in the last 2 weeks, we've doubled our results with half the time, three-quarters of the time lost, where we can get leads in an hour and get appointments made to get our guys on roofs. It's been spectacular, and that way we have it in-house. So I'm going to let Kyle talk a little more about that.
Yeah,
and
I'd like to know more about that. Yeah. Can you get a little deeper on that? Like what is Batch Lead?
Right.
Like, and is it a bolt-on to somebody's website? How is it generating leads for contractors?
Yeah, so we started out in the real estate wholesaling and investment space. Mm-hmm. So currently we have 15,000 subscribers and users to our app that are using it. So how they've been generating prospects and leads is basically they would go on our app, they would go and hover over whatever area they would like to target. So anywhere in the United States, you then draw a radius around it, and then we're able to give you actual data, so their cell phone number and their email. Mm-hmm. You're able to pull that out of it and extrapolate it, and then through SMS, you're able to then text them right away. So it's basically changing the game for real estate and wholesalers, but now we've identified that this industry and home services need the same thing. And how it was really created is exactly what Jeff said, the pain of just putting your hard-earned money in the hands of a marketing company, hoping and praying, I call it a pray and spray, that you're going to hit a property owner every single time. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen. But when you're able to actually bring this in-house, teach your sales guys how to use it in 15 minutes and hit a homeowner or a commercial property owner 92% out of the time, wow, it's changing the game, right?
Yeah, that's a high percentage because I've heard of other companies doing that, and I like that we call it the fishnet approach. You know what I mean? What did you call it? Spray and pray?
Spray and pray.
Yeah, right. So you're dumping all this money, but it sounds like you guys have narrowed it down and got it a little more granular for the contractor to actually extrapolate. What word did you use?
Extrapolate.
Extrapolate,
yeah.
Extrapolate. Somebody Google that shit. People's data, information, their cell phone number. So my first question when you were speaking is how is that working out with sending, and I'm going to call it spam text, okay?
Of course.
What reaction are you receiving from potential clients?
Let me give you a quick story about that.
Okay.
I was skeptical at first.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, Kyle, I got this house on my boat I go by all the time. It's a $2 million mansion. I wanted to get the roof. I saw the hail from a distance. I said, see if you can get his phone number. So he pulls up the address, gets the cell phone, the guy's name, dial at the first ring, he picks up. He's an electrical contractor around the United States. We got a rapport going like this. I'm inspecting his roof next week. So that's an example. I became a true believer after that. I was just like, wow.
Yeah. And honestly, it's how you position the first contact, okay?
Right.
If you're like, hey, John, do you need a roof inspection? That's never going to work, okay? You need to build rapport, and it's the first contact and the first message that you send to them that is going to really set up the conversation. So, a lot of people out there, unfortunately, don't understand the art of copy. Right. And the art of actually building that rapport.
Yes.
So we know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about that first initial contact and how you send that first text to have them respond, and then how you build that rapport. So that is a piece of it, absolutely.
Okay.
So we also take off the no-call list too. We take off the scrub it really well, So no call list, litigators are removed, things like this.
Okay.
We've been using it now for about 3 weeks consistently.
Oh, wow.
Had,
Yeah.
So
and
this
no
is
problem.
super new, but you find that you're getting a lot of traction with it already.
right. Oh, yeah.
Like there was instant gratification,
That's right.
which as a contractor myself, that's what I'm looking for. Like this
Right.
shit needed to happen yesterday.
Yeah.
So you're already seeing results after 3 weeks. Okay, so after the first initial text message goes out, and let's say they reply back like, yes, I'm interested, is it like set up for a bot to respond back, or is it actual human being that's responding back?
Yeah, so back to your initial question, is this legal? So we are 100% compliant. We put everything and anything into making sure we're compliant. And what makes it illegal when you go and send texts out to people is people will just grab a list and they'll do an automatic text message straight to that list.
Love it.
All right? And it's first, usually the first contact is asking them, they're trying to get in bed with them right away, right? They're trying to ask them to get on their roof right away without building that rapport. But when you do an automatic text like that, that's illegal, okay? And you will get sued for doing it. What we've built is so that it's technically manual.
Okay.
All right, so when you're sending these messages, you're clicking a button, but our proven text messages are already in there, and that's going to automatically send to them. But also we have multiple numbers that are in our system so that you have a great reputation score, and you're always hitting those homeowners.
Nice.
All right, if you just go and spray and pray and you blast them with a text message right away on an automated system, one, it's illegal, but two, you're going to get dinged, and your numbers are going to show up spam likely. So that is another big part of it. Like Jeff said, we extrapolate all of the numbers that are landlines, okay, and we take out the litigators. So the people that are national complainers, people that are going to try to sue you, like people that are like lawyers and whatnot in states. Florida is one of the #1 places for that.
Right.
So we make sure that we protect actual users that are using our platform on top of it.
No, I love that. So it seems like you guys have really done your research, crossed your T's, dotted your I's to make it so none of us get in trouble that would use your new app. So it's an app, right,
Yep.
that anyone can use. All right, I like that.
What we've come up with is it's called data-induced marketing. So it's a disruptor in the lead system.
Yep.
So we can save that pocket money. I mean, we're spending $10,000 a month for Google Ads, Facebook, right?
Yes.
Now for as little as $299 a month, right? With a $1,500 startup, you're in business.
Nice. Now, how do you, is it like white label to the contractor? Like, how do they know who it is? Or is it, does all of the data go to you first, then to us?
Nope, it's straight to the contractor.
Okay.
It's just like if you're going to log into your Facebook and use your Facebook. So, like I said, it's monthly $299, and then you go in there and you have a map, you pull from your map, you text from the app as well. You can also click to dial, which I definitely recommend for everybody to do, is once you get that first contact of the homeowner from the first initial text, then you just jump on a call with them.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Okay.
Hey, John, I just want to let you know I'm in the area. I'm at your neighbor's house, and from June hail, there was about a whatever you want to say, a 2-inch hail, whatever happened, you could be eligible for a new roof, right?
Love it.
I just wanted to stop by. I'm at your neighbor's house.
Yeah, no, I love that, man.
Right?
I hope to see this take off for you guys because I've followed your content for quite some time. I did something, you were doing something,
Right.
what was it, like maybe a year or two ago you were doing like this thing that I had to watch. What the heck was
Well,
that?
we do a lot of compassion acts. We do food drives.
Yeah.
We
30-day challenge you're doing.
The
Yeah.
40-day
Yeah,
challenge.
Yes,
Yeah.
maybe that's what it was, some sort of
Yeah,
challenge that I
that's
kept
right.
up with that
That's what this is
for
about.
40 days. Yes, yeah. So that's where I think I first recognized who you were,
Thanks.
what you did with
Right.
Music City Roofers,
That's
which
right.
is awesome name, by the way. You have a lovely daughter. I met her in Dallas a
Thank you.
few weeks ago,
Jessica.
and what she's working on,
Right.
and I can see that the apple hasn't fell from the tree.
Yeah.
Thank you
Very
so
far.
much.
Yes, yeah. So she's got that roofer mentality, or
Yes.
not mentality, but hustle spirit, and her entrepreneurial spirit.
That's it.
In her soul.
Yeah,
is,
she's got
as
a heart
much
to
as you
help
do.
for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 40-day challenge now is Eyes Wide Open, this book, and it's a Roofer's edition. Prepare for war, declare who you are with Eyes Wide Open. So,
I love it.
anybody can go to roofersunited.org and get a copy of this. To get to the lead system, it's batch leads.
Yeah, batchleads.io. Yep.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
it.
And if you want to try a 7-day free trial, we hook you up. It's actually Jeff's Batchlease.io/Roofers United.
Right.
Yeah, of course. And we'll give you guys a trial, check it out, test drive it. I think you're going to like what we got for you.
Awesome, man. Thank you guys so much for coming on, and,
Yeah.
and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I never say that, and they're giving me shit for not asking
Yeah, we
people
need
to do
to.
that. So subscribe to the Beyond the Toolbelt channel and hit the bell.
We're in.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you for coming on, man.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Oh. Matt Mulholland. Listen to this bull.
That sounds like a really shitty show.
You like that?
Yeah.
What's
My
up,
man,
Matt?
the myth,
it
the
going?
legend. We'll swing you in here in a minute. All right. We're just going to keep it running. We haven't stopped running live yet. All right. So, Matt Mulholland, National Claims Institute. How the hell are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. So, how are things going since I met you last? What's going on? What's new? What's exciting? And what's not so new? And what's not so exciting going on?
Since you met me last, you were at our facility for the roofing reclaim deal.
Yes.
Or not roofing reclaim,
Shingling
roofing ahead of the curve.
Yeah, roofing ahead of the curve.
That's what it
yes.
was. That was a decent deal. Not much has changed. I'm still alive. I still wear this hat. I still put product in my beard. I still wipe my ass.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
So, since being in Florida, have you tried any types of new micro brews or anything like that? Because I know that's kind of your thing. So, has there been a highlighted brew that you would like to give a shout out to?
Yeah. So out of Jacksonville, there is a brewery called Cigar City. And if you can find this on tap, they have an espresso brown ale that is unbelievable. I found it in a can as well, and it's terrible. It's terrible in a can.
Oh, really?
But on a tap, it is the best beer I've ever had.
Really?
I
And it's
can't
an
get enough of
espresso like coffee brew?
So it kind of, but it's a brown ale. Normally the coffee stuff is like porters and stouts, but this is it's lighter. It's a brown ale that has the coffee notes.
Do you have any with you today?
I do not.
I was going to say you're more than welcome to crack it, pop a top.
Well, I wouldn't crack it open because I just told you it was terrible.
Oh, true that.
Do you
Very
pay
true.
attention to your guests?
I don't
What
pay
the
attention
hell,
very well. Ask Janet. Where's Janet? She'll be able to tell you. Okay, so the National Claims Institute, why don't you describe to our viewers exactly what that is? Because I know for myself, I was a little confused until I realized that you were actually the dean of this school. Like, I had no idea it was a school.
You had no idea.
No clue.
I mean, you were in the building.
Well, at that time, I think I started to realize what the hell was going on down there.
That's when you figured it out.
Yes.
For some people, seeing is believing, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
So the National Claims Institute is a institution for claims handling and everybody that does anything involving an insurance claim. So we teach contractors, public adjusters, insurance adjusters, engineers, even attorneys, their role in the insurance claim process. We've got roof inspection certification courses, interior loss investigation courses. We've got public adjuster classes, advanced policy interpretation. One of my most popular classes is a course called Dealing with Engineers. It's 1 day long, and we teach people how to deal with the carrier engineer. Because the carrier engineers are being sent out mostly to deny the claim. And if you set yourself up from the beginning on this, you could actually completely avoid the denial, know exactly what it's about to be before it happens, and then sidestep it. But there is a process behind it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And that's the one thing I really like about you, too, especially with your podcast. You are so informative and so intelligent about and the way you speak and the way that you describe and give away basically, I'm not saying for free, but I know on your podcast that you guys have so much great information for those of us that are in the contracting world, especially in the storm restoration end of things. Like, we don't do a lot up in PA. Now, we do some over on the Eastern Shore and stuff like that, but in depth as Florida is, and 90% of the business, I would imagine, is more so storm restoration opposed to retail like we're used to, right? I mean, if I was to move to Florida and get into the storm restoration, I think I know for a fact that I would definitely attend your school, and I'm assuming that's something like you offer to us contractors to come there?
I mean, currently we have 15 different courses available. You can choose whichever one suits you best. Mm-hmm. We've got 392 different courses planned. You know, we're still new. It's about 2 years in at this point. But figure out what it is that you need to learn. I've probably got a course about it, or one coming up. We're about to move a lot of this stuff online so you can access it, go at your own pace. I didn't want to do a bunch of talking head webinar style, watch a video of someone talking and fall asleep kind of stuff. So we're getting more into the interactive education for online things, but
yeah,
should be good. But until then, a lot of our stuff is either in person or on Zoom as a webinar, so you can ask questions live. I think most of the people the vast majority of the knowledge is in the sidebar conversations.
Yes.
And so it's very conversational tone courses. We talk about a lot of different things. I usually take notes during the classes because I'm learning from the students as much as they're learning from me. Well, I mean, not as much. That'd be weird.
Yeah. No, and that's great. That's very humbling too, and open-minded, because, us being on here, like right now, I'm learning from you, and it's okay to admit that I don't know everything, and that's why I need to surround myself around people like you that are more intelligent in those areas and expertise that I'm not so smart in. And
sure.
I was grateful to have met you and went to your facility and live. We went, 12 hours straight down there at your facility. You had the hail cannon. Why don't you explain to us exactly what the hail cannon is?
So we actually have it at this event.
Oh.
It's over there. We've been shooting different materials, but the hail cannon, we've named it SHIT, S-H-I-T. It stands for shoots hail into things.
Love it.
So we shoot the shit at different shit and hit it. And but we've designed it in such a way that we could actually get good data out of it. Our school is actually registered as a research facility as well. So we've got an electric solenoid valve on there, so it opens and closes at the same rate every time, so we can actually get decent data out of any material that we're firing at it. We can measure the speed at which whatever size hailstone it is we're firing, and see what happens. A lot of the issue with this industry on damage is that it's, damage is what the adjusters are looking for, and that's different from one adjuster to the next. Mm-hmm. But none of that's true. The policy pays for damage. What does that mean? They don't define it. Why wouldn't they define the most important thing in the policy? They keep it ambiguous on purpose in order to make it easier for them to underpay claims because they're for-profit businesses. So engineering firms have defined it to mean something very, very stringent. And now all adjusters are learning from that engineering firm. All contractors are learning from that engineering firm. And they're learning absolute bullshit. And that's the reality of it. So part of our classes, we teach you what damage looks like in all of its forms, everything that could be damaged, and it's anything that's a physical change that is not a benefit to the shingle. If it's detrimental in any way and it's physically altered, it's damaged. Granules being lost off an asphalt shingle is damaged. I don't care if they say it's not damaged. That's just bullshit.
Wow. Does anybody else do anything like this other than you? I mean, I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, nobody said that you couldn't do this or do this. Is anyone else doing this, and what possessed you to do this?
No, that was the problem. No one's teaching, maybe to a limited extent, like an hour at an event here or a little bit there, but no one's really come together to create an institution that has real knowledge there that can actually change things. One of the first sets of courses we created was the roof inspection courses to specifically take on the bullshit that is being taught. If we don't combat the bullshit that Hague teaches, I said it, then we're never going to get anywhere as an industry.
No, you're right. That's fantastic. I love it.
Do you get any pushback by contractors or any other clients that you have coming in thinking that they know everything or they have all the answers and the solutions? What's that been like?
Yeah, of the students that have come in, no, none. If I say anything online on insurance adjuster forum or something along those lines, they tend to go to the extremes on it. They say, oh, you just want to pay for it. What if you have one granule loss? That happens during a rainstorm. That's great. If it happened during a hailstorm, hail's a covered peril. It doesn't matter if it happens during rain as well. By the way, rain is a covered peril. It doesn't matter if it happens when someone walks on the roof and it's footfall. By the way, footfall is a covered peril. It doesn't matter if it's mechanical damage in nature. By the way, mechanical damage is a covered peril. Just because it's not hail doesn't mean it's not covered. It's like everybody forgot how things work, and we're all idiots walking around. Oh, it's mechanical damage. Shit. Gosh darn it. I guess I don't have a claim. It's not excluded.
Right.
The fuck is mechanical damage anyway?
Yeah, seriously, I was just sitting here thinking that. What's the difference between damage or mechanical damage? Or
Nobody knows.
Right.
I asked 8 different engineers at Windstorm Conference. They have an expo center that's all engineers and attorneys. And I asked 8 different engineers what mechanical damage was. I got 4 different answers. And 4 of them asked me what the fuck I was talking about.
Oh.
That's a problem.
Do you remember what those 4 answers were?
Vandalism was one of them. Anything that was hitting or hit by an outside force, something involving a tool. I don't remember what the 4th one was. There's been depositions with Hague where Hague has admitted that hail can cause mechanical damage.
There you go.
What the fuck?
Right.
It sounds like there's no clear-cut answer here, and everybody's kind of got their own definition of what it is.
Yeah, now, if they say, no, it's mechanical damage, it's not hail, we're denying the claim, they send you a denial letter, it's going to have the entire exclusion section on that denial letter. They're supposed to give you specific language from the policy that says why something is excluded. If they give you the whole fucking thing, they don't even know why they're excluding it.
Yeah.
Can you be more specific, please? Well, we think our answer is very clear. It isn't clear. You gave me the whole exclusion section. Can you point to which one it is? We believe our position is clear.
So how do you push back at that point?
Yeah. That's a great question.
Honestly, here's a nugget. This is something that public adjusters and contractors get wrong constantly. I can either keep beating up an adjuster until they admit they were wrong, which is never going to happen. I can keep asking him yes or no questions, knowing that I'm right. And I just know if I keep asking him this, or if I trap him in this way, he's going to admit he was wrong this whole time. That's not going to happen, because that has long-term consequences for the insurance carrier. If they set a precedent on your file that is going to make them do the same thing for every file going forward, they can't do it. They're going to force you into a litigation system so that they have to settle outside of court. So that there's no decision that's made on it whatsoever, and they can wipe their hands clean of it.
Exactly.
If they ever get to the point where they're saying our position stands, it's because you've asked them something that's going to have long-term consequences for them in the future on other claims. If you get to that point, the easiest thing to do is to say, hey, Mr. Adjuster, I don't need you to admit you were wrong. My client and I have discussed this, and we've agreed to a compromise settlement amount of whatever dollars.
Yeah.
A compromise settlement is a dollar amount that they're agreeing to, where they don't have to say why or what they're agreeing to.
Exactly.
And they'll actually do a settlement. And you don't have to hand it to an attorney. That's what the attorney's going to do anyway.
Yeah.
You definitely, if you do this as a PA, you definitely have to get your client to agree to that process, and you can't just accept a number without getting your client to agree.
I love all that.
And it might not be legal in every state, but
So
most of them.
if I needed help with something, do people call you or do they hire you? Like, are you a PA, I guess? Or
I mean, I'm a licensed PA. I don't act as one. I'm only in education at this point. But I do a lot of consulting.
okay.
You know, and I've got public adjusting classes. I prefer if you just purchase the classes and learn for yourselves.
Yeah.
The problem with consulting is a lot of times people get in this habit where they need me to make the decision on what to do for them.
Awesome.
And my classes teach you how to have the thought process behind figuring out what to do for yourself.
Awesome.
Because there isn't a solid one answer for everything. Yeah, there's like 10 different ways to. There's a lot of ways to skin cats. Cats have weird skin.
Yeah, no, I love that. So if anybody wanted to sign up for your class or reach out to you, how would they get a hold of you?
They could go to the website nationalclaims.institute. That is the website. They can also find me on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. You can check out Listen to This Bull on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. Listen to This Bull is a YouTube channel with a lot of 10, 15-minute educational videos and a podcast every Tuesday at 6 p.m. where we talk about bullshit in the insurance world.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And that's the thing about Matt. He's constantly giving away free knowledge and not charging anybody for it. And you said your podcast is what, Wednesday night at 6 p.m.?
Tuesdays.
Tuesday night, Eastern Standard Time at 6 p.m. Listen to This Bull. This guy right here knows his fucking shit, everybody. For real. When it comes to the insurance claim world, this is your guy right here, Matt Mulholland. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
All right.
For Dean White. I guess they found who Dean White was. But JP, so we'll get him in here quick. Maybe we'll do something with him and pump him up a little bit.
Awesome.
For being on the show. But JP, I met JP first. Where did I meet you at? Through Revolt.
The Revolt, Dominican Republic.
Yeah, the Dominican. So this man here, were you like one of my best men at my wedding?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there?
Yeah, somewhere. I actually prayed over your wedding that night.
Yeah,
So
that
I
was
gave the blessing over
fantastic.
it.
That's our special connection, and that's why we wanted to bring JP on the show because RD, the gentleman who, I guess, what is he, like an ordained minister?
Yep. Works
Okay.
for John Maxwell. John Maxwell's
Yeah.
right-hand man.
Right?
So,
yeah,
yeah.
John Maxwell's right-hand man actually married Jana and myself, and JP and Hunter, Dylan and Bob were like my best men at our wedding, which was a very special day, and especially for Jana and myself, but more so for Jana, because I know this is something that she wanted for a very long time, and she definitely earned it for staying in there. I don't know if she's out there or not, but God bless you, Jana. I love you very much. And thank you for participating in our wedding that night and making it very special to us. So, JP, let's get into what it is that you do, man.
Yeah, so we're roofing contractors out of Dayton, Ohio, and we just kind of a different mission. Like, you know, a lot of guys like to build roofs. I like to build people up. My whole entire attention and my roofing business is to build people. We're heavily involved in a lot of ministries, a lot of like, so we have the Welch ministry out of Liberia, Africa, where we were able to help build a school there last year. And then now we send over money every month for food and for medication, because all the kids have worms and parasites. So they can eat the food, but they can't keep it down. So we took care of the other problem, and now that's just something that we just love to do. Like, that's part of our mission. That's part of our core values
That's
in
your
our
purpose
business.
today.
Yeah, it's our purpose.
That's good stuff, man.
So we love it.
Yeah, there's in one of my speeches, like I do them all the time, but
Yeah.
I read this book. I can't remember what book it is, but he talks about like four purposes, and like the first one's like survival, second one's status, third one's freedom, and then the fourth one is purpose, right?
Yeah.
Like get right with your purpose, figure out what your purpose is, and it sounds like you've really figured that out. Like what not necessarily has been freely given to you, and I know you've earned it and worked for it, but you're willing to give it away to keep basically what you have.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just truly blessed with this whole thing. My wife and I were paramedics and firefighters. I was there for 14 years. She was there for 17 years. That's why we kind of reside with Hunter a little bit. Like we have that same story, and we just feel called out of it, man. So we quit we were making together about $170,000 a year, but we didn't have that freedom like you talked about. We didn't have that, like, we didn't have that fulfillment in our purpose. So we just left. One day I said, we were right in the middle of building a house, and I'm like, hey, I think I should quit. And and go pursue this job or go pursue this business.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, okay. So I walked out on my $80,000 a year job and just bet on myself. Pulled my retirement, paid off some of our debts, and then I just continued to build our business. Like we just recently built up a pool company. After being in that, we built up a pool company. We got it to about $3 million, and then sold it in less than a year.
Oh, cool! So you sold that?
Yeah, we walked away from it, and
fantastic. And so it sounds like because you were willing to throw it all away to give back, it sounds like it's actually came back tenfold for you.
100%, man. And I at one point, like, I worked really hard and I put myself through school. Like I was in the Army and I used my GI Bill, but I put myself through school, and that I had the certifications. Those certifications were really valuable to me. Mm-hmm. And I sat at a computer one night and I'm like, man, if I'm going to believe in myself, I'm going to believe in myself. And I just canceled them all my certifications. I had one more day to renew them. Wow. And I sat there and I'm like, man, I'm going to burn the ships. I'm not going back. I'm going all in. Yep. And I just canceled all my certifications.
All in, baby.
Yeah. So
when did this journey start for you?
About 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we and then I really didn't feel that we were all in. So I went to my wife and I'm like, hey, I need you to quit your job too. Mm-hmm. And she's all about security. She's all about, man, she's like, we got to have this paycheck. We got to have this security. And I'm like, man, I need you to quit. Mm-hmm. And she'd been there for 17 years. She's 7 years away from retirement.
Wow. And what does she do in the business now? When she quit, I'm sure she's doing something.
She controls everything.
Right?
So her job is to keep me from buying a helicopter. 100%. So,
okay. I can
and to make sure that our lights are on.
Yeah. I'm sure Janet can relate to that a lot. I didn't think about a helicopter, more so probably a motorcycle or something for me. But no, that's awesome. I love that tag team duo. Okay, so what has attracted you to Revolt? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so when I came into this, like, I didn't know anything about business. I literally sat in the firehouse and watched YouTube on how to start a business, how to do tax strategies, how to do my filings, like how to do QuickBooks, how to do everything. And I was just like, all right, I think I got it. Yeah. And so I tell everybody that I was kind of swatting mosquitoes with a shotgun and had no real direction. And I came here last year, man, and I kind of hooked up with Hunter after this. Diego sent me a thing for Revolt, and I joined Revolt, man, and it gave me that community. Mm-hmm. Man, there's so much value in business and everything else, but the community is what I was lacking. Yeah. So I've been a firefighter. I was a paramedic for a while. I was a cop for a while. Like I was in the Army, and all those things. I had a community, and in this business, I was by myself, and until like I joined that community, man, then I thrived. I mean, we went from like about $647,000 up to $3.7 million, and like we went to $3.7 million, and half the time it took us to get to $700,000. Yeah, so, I can understand that. Yeah. It kind of like moved the momentum in the right direction, and I think what's cool about it for us is that, one, the accountability portion of it, but two, like, and probably one of the most important is that we've surrounded ourselves around like-minded business owners in the same industry, right? So if we do have any questions, we're humble enough to those groups that we're in, the chat that we're in. I see people asking questions all the time, putting down the fear and the ego of like, oh my God, because as men, at least for myself, I want everybody to think that I know what the hell I'm doing and I know what the hell I'm talking about and shit like that. But that's like a place where we can kind of feel safe and ask people questions like, hey, so if this happened or if that happened, how did you handle this or how did you handle that? And for me, I know I needed that. Like, I needed someplace I could go. I'm like, there's no chapter in a fucking book, and I've read hundreds of books about this situation that I'm dealing with. But this gives us a network of like-minded roofing contractors, a place for us to go to ask these people. Is the fellowship and the camaraderie too, man. The camaraderie. Yeah, and that's we joke around, like I've seen Dylan in 7 different states, another country, but I've never seen him in Ohio, and he's an Ohio contractor. Oh my God. And then like Dan Riccomini that just walked by, I put out on the chat, man, I want to get in a commercial, and I'm right now building a 62,000 square foot building. And then about a week ago, I was on 835,000 square feet of commercial roofs. Wow. Just in a week. Yeah, that's life-changing shit. What's up, Dilly Dilly? You want to come in here for a minute? Yeah, and then so
I'm gonna have him take my place.
There you go.
Yeah. No, you're more than welcome to.
A little switch
Go
up
ahead,
here.
Get in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so we so Dan Ricky Meany walked by, and I in that chat, I just sent out, man. I'm like, I don't know how to do these commercial bids that I'm getting. I mean, all this commercial stuff's coming in, and Dan's like, dude, let me reach out to you. Like, let me get him a call. And we've been friends. I mean, Dylan and I both went out and spoke at his business retreat, and we got a chance to speak and like pour into his guys. So it was really cool for him to come back and just kind of just throw up all this information with Gideon.
Right.
I
So-
still think it's amazing that you were completely self-taught, watching YouTube videos, teaching it
100%.
to yourself. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Honestly, I commend you for that.
Thanks. Yeah, I knew nothing about business at all. Like, I mean, like I had tried to start a couple businesses and failed miserably. Like, my wife's like, dude, are you gonna lose another big old pot of money? I'm like, no, this will just be a little
No,
bit.
I got it this time. I got
This time I got it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, I've
He still
failed
don't
so
have it
much,
figured out.
and the reason
None of us do.
Yeah.
Let's do.
yeah, the reason I had to do it is because I burned all the ships. Like, I gave up all my certifications. Every time I tried to develop a company, I had something to fall back on. And it wasn't until I got sold out, all in, got rid of everything else, and I'm like, I told her, I said, this has to succeed because there's no other options.
Yeah.
And it's just in my head, man. Like, I'm just, I used to fight professionally, and I would get in the ring, they'd close that cage door and lock that cage door, and I'm like, this dude got in the wrong cage today.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I'm not losing, because everybody's watching me. And that's the thing, is like, all these guys in the fire service, they had told me how dumb I was and all this stuff. So I'm like, yeah, okay.
That's the status phase.
That's, yeah.
Did-
It's like, man, I'm going to get it, man. I'm going to get it. And
My favorite thing about this guy right here, and Ty, did you know that he's never been knocked out? He has, in all his fighting experience, all of his bouncer experience, he has never been knocked out.
yeah,
I
I
can
hit in the
believe it.
face of the pole.
I think he's got a Revolt record for sure for number of dudes knocked out in one setting. Would you mind like sharing that small story? It's my favorite story that you tell.
Yeah, it's past like the statute of limitations. So yeah, I was working at a nightclub. I won't say that because I don't know if that's past the statute yet. But there was a group of guys, and like they were being rowdy in this bar, and it was time for them to go, and they didn't want to go, so. They thought, like, because I smile all the time, and I told them, and I gave them a real fair warning. I said, dude, I'm like, don't let the smile fool you guys, man. It's really going to get you guys in a lot of trouble. And they did, so I knocked out 7 of them.
7?
Yeah, piled them up in a pile. And then this poor kid, man, dude, this is the worst part of the story, man. This kid is his like 21st birthday, and he's like walking up, and he put his hand on me because he threw up in the bathroom. He's going to say sorry. I knocked his hand down. I hit him in the face and busted his eardrum. I'm like, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry.
Was that number?
He was 8. Yeah,
It's got to be
he
a record.
felt kind of like off the pile, so it was 7 in the pile.
Do you have any photos of this?
I have photos of me getting beat up.
I wanted to see the pile of dudes.
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
no, that was back when we had the flip phones.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
so it
so-
would have been a Polaroid then.
Yeah, I'd have been like waving that thing out, trying to get it cut.
Right? That's a
Yeah.
great story, man. And who would have knew? Because you are a gentle giant.
Yeah.
For sure.
Very humble,
Yeah,
kind
man.
man. Absolutely.
He, honestly, man, as much I know he just said it. We've spent so much time together, like not in the state of Ohio. Like we've never been together in the state of Ohio, actually. But like he is like just the gentlest, freaking kindest dude that you can possibly meet. Now, JP 20 years ago, I would have not wanted to run into with any bad intention.
You know,
No.
and he's one of my guys is over there, and I tell him, I'm like, hey man, can you guys just do your job? Because I go from 0 to death row real quick.
Hey, I'm sure
have
that
no
works
filter.
too, right? I love that.
Yeah, I have no
love
filter,
that, man.
so-
what else, man? Tell us more about something about you guys. You've seen each other in 6 different states in one country.
Yeah,
So-
and not in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first time was in Utah, right? That's when
Utah.
We met in Utah. The second time was Conklin. That had
Yep.
been our second time. So we went out to the Conklin training there, Carlisle.
Carlisle. In Pennsylvania.
Training in Carlisle, PA. Actually, that was right around the time you and I. And it was right before I was on the podcast the first time.
Yes.
And I was like, hey man, we were out here.
Lights out.
I guess you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Right.
So the third time would have been the couples retreat. No, it would have been with Dan.
Kansas.
We went to Kansas, St. Mary's, Kansas. Awesome, beautiful place. Dam's hometown. He owns the whole town. The fourth time would have been the DR.
There was another time in Indiana.
Did we see each other in Indiana?
I believe so, because I took Bob's truck back.
No, we were supposed to see each other in Indiana. You were out there. I got sick for that trip.
The one industry, one model with Jen Silver.
We were supposed to be together for that one. There's got to be more. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we've seen
Tennessee.
each other in Tennessee.
Yep.
So just, all these little path crossings, man, and we live 3 hours apart, and we've never been like, hey, man, let's meet halfway, because that makes sense.
You know, the worst part, Ty, is this dude will send me a text while he's driving through Dayton, where my office is. He's driving through Dayton like, hey, man, are you going to get all these shingles up here? I'm like, bro, if you're driving through Dayton, stop by and see me. I'm just not that.
I just
not
rather
that
talk
important,
smack. Yeah, there's more.
So you just kept it
I've
moving.
seen some of the smack that they talk. Great job.
Yeah.
But that's part of the fellowship.
But that's the fellowship of Revolt, that brotherhood, man. Is that like that even though like we live that close and we see each other all over the United States, all over in different countries and stuff like that, man. It's still like he's coming down to my place. He's going to teach a class on metal roofing. I'm coming to his place. I'm going to teach a class on insurance work and man, we're just going to collaborate. Like next year we do a just kind of like a Revolt kind of themed getaway for our families with our business, and every year and like we'll have him down to speak, and we're going to plunge him in the water in February, and
See, and that's what was going through my mind, because we're always so busy. You guys live 3 hours away.
yeah.
Sorry,
You
it's
guys,
my fault.
no, don't stress it. You guys only live 3 hours away from each other, and have never seen each other in the state of Ohio,
Right.
because we're all so busy. But because of Revolt, it makes us stop
It does.
what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you guys get to see each other. So what is that saying? What lesson can we learn from that?
It's just the importance of that community. I mean, like, when we're back home, like, I mean, for us to shut down our companies or leave our companies in somebody else's hands, and the reason I can leave my company is because we're surrounded by, like, great guys.
Yeah.
I mean, and, like, in Revolt, like, before Revolt, I was just hiring anybody. I'm like, oh, you got a pulse? Come on, let's go. Once we joined Revolt, they're like, man, you hire and fire off your core values. And then now nobody walks in my company without passing my core values. It's on the front. It's like right when you walk in the door, it's right there. And you don't come in. But if you sit down and we talk and you don't match up with our core values, then I'm like, man, it's good to see you, man. But, the door hits you with a good Lord split you.
You were just talking about core values in your session yesterday, and
Yeah.
how important that is.
It's very important.
Well, and I just did that moderated panel upstairs for the Revolt guys, and I asked the guys, like, what's the most important takeaway you could have? And it always comes back, like, literally we went down the line and it kind of got redundant, so I just cut the question off. Like, I don't want to hear from the rest of the guys, because it's just going to be the same story. Get your core values locked in, figure out what your organization's all about. Documenting them is obviously, something we could all do better. I think all of us could always be better about displaying those and making sure that our people are well aware of them. But, when you tie back to what you were saying as far as how crazy it is that we've never seen each other in Ohio, but what we can take away from that, man, we love to be so intentional with our time, but I think the reason why we do it in the settings that we're doing it in, as far as JP and I are concerned, typically when we're doing those, we're not there to serve our purpose or to serve ourselves. We're there to serve other people, which is our purpose. And I firmly believe, I think JP and I line up on the same level there, that we were put here to better serve other people. It has nothing to do, this is not, we say it in Revolt all the time, it's not the Hunter Ballou show. Well, it's not the JP Wilson show, it's not the Dylan Mullen show, it's not the Ty Backer show. I know you breathe that in your organization, but when it comes to going and serving other people, that's where we can make the time.
Yeah.
Right? When we think it's selfish for ourselves, we have no desire as entrepreneurs to make the time when we're doing things correctly. Mm-hmm. The guys who are out there with all the flashy vacations, and they got to go on 17 cruises a year, and all the BS, because at the end of the day, that's really what it is. Those guys aren't out there serving their purpose. They aren't here best serving their fellow man. Right. And I think that's why I would love to stop in and see JP, and it would serve me. It would serve him as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd buy you lunch.
Yeah, he'd buy me lunch. I get to sign into his house. It's another story. But
my house is a tax write-off, so if you come over to my house, I give you a tour. You got to sign in, so we get the tax write-off for it. Just saying.
Smart man. But no, so we could go down there and we could enjoy their presence, but that group setting, everything that we're doing in those settings typically, even with Dan's team, and if he invites me down to his team's retreat and I get the opportunity to go down there and serve those people, that's important to me, and that's serving my purpose on why I believe God put me here, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. So it sounds like you're not only building a community, but you're also building each other up. and
yeah.
building others up, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
100%.
At the end of the day, man, like when you realize, like I think why I found my purpose here for it is because I love elevating people to the next level. I love seeing people get further than I do. The people, even in our organization, you know, that first hire we were just talking about on the stage upstairs, that first hire is always so damn scary. But once you get the first one, the second one, the third one, now I kind of almost like to see those people take control of those situations prior, right? Yeah. To be able to go and do that in other people's organizations and plant those seeds. Like when we're down there with Dano, I know we're planting seeds because his team members that are here are coming up and talking to me and going, hey, man, for instance, his brother, I'm going to call him out a little bit. He come up to me and he was asking me, like, I've got – so he had won some awards that he didn't feel like he deserved. He's going through that imposter syndrome that all of us deal with, but he felt empowered enough to come up and speak to me and say, hey, man, I want your opinion on this situation. That stuff, to me, is why we go out and do what we do. That's why we have no problem leaving the family, leaving the business, and fulfilling that purpose.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I got to get on Eric O's podcast, man. I appreciate y'all for letting me in. It's good seeing you, boys.
Thank you for coming on.
Hug you.
Hey, brother.
Cool.
Sorry for crashing.
Well, it
boys.
almost seems like, are we closing up at 2 o'clock today? Okay, well, that's not such a bad thing, I guess. So, JP, what do you... Yes. Where's our duct tape at? So, with your final words, man, what do you want to leave with everybody that's listening right now?
Man, there's a if you're an entrepreneur, if you're like called to do business, if you're called to whatever, like something outside of yourself, like God has given me an ability to like invest in like this one of our guys, Joey, man, and like and we have Steve and Michael and Tabby and like all these people in our organization, but like we have been able to, like my wife and I have been able to like build people. And that's what like I wondered for a while, like what my purpose was, what my drive in this is.
Yep.
And man, my drive is not roofing. My drive is not like the brand new shingles that are out. But man, it is taking like our one of our guys that's a youth pastor. He came from being a youth pastor, and I mean, he wasn't making much money serving, and now that he's make over 6 figures this year, and like I get to be a part of that.
Yes,
I got to
man.
be a part of changing like his generational like outlook on everything. And then like I get to look at my kids and my daughter. I built a company and put my daughter into it. And the fact that now she's going to build a company off of that company, and like I can just change the way my kids look at me. I can change the way they look at the school system. Like we won't even get into the school system of the Rockefellers because that'll drive me nuts. But I'm able to change those generational things, man. I'm able to like leave a mark and leave a legacy on this. That's like, you know, I'm gonna leave a legacy in these people, not just on them.
Right. So. And that sounds to me like that's you know, when someone asks you what sorry, I'm getting tired.
Oh, you good.
What do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what that sounds like. That's what you want your legacy to be,
100%.
man. Thank you for coming on the show, brother.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
And that's a wrap, I guess.
That's
Kids
it.
of RoofCon,
RoofCon.
2022?
22.
20, 21, or what year
21?
is it? I don't even know what day of the week it
I
is
know, they
right
turn the
now.
lights off on us, though, Ty.
That's right.
But we don't stop till it's time to stop.
That's right. We don't
That's how
stop
we do
until
it.
it's time to stop.
What was your experience, Ty? How did you enjoy RoofCon this year?
What did I think, man? The people, the fellowship, and the camaraderie from my Revolt brothers, Hunter Blue. Big shout out to him. Big shout out to Jenna, Blake, Daniel, and the rest of the roofing.com team. I think, you know, I'm tired for watching you guys basically set this whole fucking thing up. Like, I can't even imagine how tired they are, you know, organizing this whole entire thing, right? And, you know, we flew here. Poor me. We get to fly here. Poor me. I got to stay up till 1:30 in the morning and celebrate our victories with our team, right? Basically, because that's what this is. We bring our team down here to, like, celebrate our victories, our wins throughout the course of the year, right? Like, we earned this. I feel like you guys have earned the right to come to RoofCon and experience what Jana and I have experienced, right? So I think my biggest joy is listening to Stacy and John run up to me and say, dude, at this breakout, man, dude, game changer, SEO, blah, 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 blah. Stacy, EOS, or was it John? John with the EOS, SEOs. Stacy with the accounting guy that she listened to. Like, so that's, to me, if I didn't get anything else out of it, knowing that my team got something out of this, mission completed.
Well, not only your team, but I think anybody that heard you speak whatsoever has gotten something out of this. So
Thank you.
you've delivered a purpose way beyond than you think you did.
Thank you. And I forgot about that part. That was
Panel
beyond,
speaker,
beyond my wildest dreams.
breakthrough breakout session.
Yeah, my
I mean, come
pipe
on.
dreams can't even fathom that shit. So thank you for allowing me to do that shit. And again, thank you all for co-signing my shit.
Always.
That's it. I'm done. That's
Thank
a
you
wrap.
guys. RoofCon 2022, Orlando, Florida. We are heading back up north. Thank you all for joining in.
Thank you.